another episode of Pokemon Conspiracy Theories. My name is Gearhead, and welcome to Gearhead Shop. Let's get into it. Gengar is Clefable's shadow. Aesthetic-wise, they are both pretty similar if you look at this picture. This theory goes in two different directions. Some people say that Gengar is Clefable's shadow, whereas some people say that Gengar is a dead Clefable. Okay, so let's go over the basics. What is a Gengar and what is a Clefable? A Gengar is a shadow, ghost, poison type Pokemon, whereas Clefable is a fairy type Pokemon. The interesting part about this is that Clefable has a weakness for poison types. Another interesting tidbit about that is because Clefable is also a normal type Pokemon and Gengar is a ghost type Pokemon, they have a type of immunity with each other, so if they try to stab one another, it doesn't work because they're immune to each other. Okay, so now that we know who Gengar and Clefable are, let's jump into the theory a little bit more. Aesthetically, they are both very, very similar, from their spikes, to their toes, to their three fingers, to their chubby little tummies, to their tails. Now, their tails are not the same, but nonetheless, they both have tails. So Clefable was supposed to be the mascot of Pokemon, so there's no way that this was an oversight or anything like that. Last interesting fact I would like to talk about is that they both come out when the moon is out. We know that Pokemon is no stranger to dark and twisted stories, such as Cubone, who wears the skull of his mother on his head. So clearly, this isn't a very far stretch. So what do you think about this theory? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Ghastly is a dead cloister. Okay guys, so this one's a little short, a little funny, but let's see what you guys think. Ghastly is a dead cloister. So let's talk about who Ghastly and Cloyster are for a minute. Ghastly is a gas, ghost, poison type Pokemon, whereas Cloyster is a water, ice, bivalve Pokemon. The interesting thing that people have mentioned is that Cloyster and Ghastly are right next to each other in the Pokedex. Cloyster is number 91, whereas Ghastly is number 92. So some people think that Shellder evolves into Cloyster, Cloyster evolves into Ghastly, Ghastly evolves into Haunter, and then Haunter evolves into Gengar. Some people think that that is a logical evolution chain. One source thinks it's as simple as an old Cloyster dying and then a Ghastly just using its power to pop the Cloyster out of its shell. If you take the shell off of the Cloyster, they also look very similar. This leaves people to believe that the Ghastly has the smog around him, smog, fog, whatever, around him, the purpleness around him, because he wants to still feel like he's in a shell. Another YouTuber with the name of Noggin disproved this completely because Cloysters evolve from the water stone. Trainers have to raise it and then use the water stone on it. But Ghastlies are very common. You find them in routes, in towers, in forests, etc., etc. So that leads the question to, are there enough Cloysters to turn into the Ghastlies? If you really think about it, it just doesn't really make that much sense. It doesn't seem too plausible. Cloysters aren't even wild until the black and white of video games, so what do you guys think? Leave a comment below. Why are Brock's eyes always closed? Okay, so this theory ties in some Greek mythology. So I'm going to read a quick story to you guys about Medusa. Medusa was a monster, one of the Gorgon sisters, and daughter of Phorcys and Keto, the children of Earth and Ocean. She had the face of an ugly woman with snakes instead of hair. Anyone who looked into her eyes was immediately turned into stone. That is the most important part there. So Medusa had snakes growing out of her head, and due to a curse, everyone she looked at immediately turned into stone. So people say that Brock doesn't ever open his eyes because if he does, then whoever he looks at will turn into stone. Ding, ding, ding. Guys, he's a freaking stone trainer. Stone Pokemon trainer. Like, oh my god, I love this theory. Another theory is that he's just too lazy to battle and he doesn't want to make eye contact with someone and then have to battle them. That one's pretty easy, pretty straightforward. What do you guys think? Do you think he was cursed like Medusa, or do you think he's just lazy? Let me know in the comments below. Is Ditto a failed Mew? God, this is horrifying. Okay, so first off, I want to look at the Pokedex entries of Mew, Mewtwo, and Ditto. So I want to start off with Ditto. Ditto rearranges its cell structure to transform itself into other shapes. However, if it tries to transform itself into something by relying on its memory, this Pokemon manages to get details wrong. So the key thing I want you to remember is that it rearranges its cell structure to transform itself into other shapes. Also, I want you to remember that Ditto weighs 8.8 pounds. This is going to be very important later on. So if you look at the Pokedex entry for Mew, Mew is said to possess the genetic composition of all Pokemon. So Mew has the genetic composition, while Ditto has the cell structure. So that's quite interesting. They're both very scientific. They both have something that relates them to all Pokemon. And Mew is 8.8 pounds, just like Ditto. Okay, so Mewtwo is the genetic experiment, genetic splicing of DNA from a Mew. So the theory goes that one of the science experiments conducted using the Mew DNA went wrong. As we all know, scientists like to perfect things. Scientists like to do more than one experiment. There's never just one experiment and then you're good, you're done. So people think that Ditto was actually a failed experiment of the scientists trying to make Mewtwo. One of the most damning pieces of evidence, at least for me, was that Dittos are found on Cinnabar Island. And if you don't already know, Cinnabar Island is where the experiments to create Mewtwo were being conducted. So another piece of evidence is that Mew and Ditto, and then their shiny versions, are the same colors, but I don't really agree with that because Ditto is more like purpley pink, and then Mew is pink, like straight pink. Both their shiny versions are blue, so I mean that part of it makes sense, but I guess they're kind of similar, but that doesn't sell it for me. As I stated before that it was super important that you remember the 8.8 pounds because they're both 8.8 pounds. Like, how cool is that? That's so weird. 8.8 is such an exact number too. It's not like 10 pounds or 9 pounds. It's 8.8. Both are genderless and both are capable of asexual reproduction. Their stats are leveled across the board. They are the only two that can naturally learn transform as well as any move. Ditto's appearance is no shade, but it kind of looks like it is a blob. It literally is a blob, but like, could it be like a blob of something that went wrong in the lab? Like, is it a scientific-ish blob-ish thing? Also, I saw this piece of evidence, but I haven't found a record of it. Maybe I'm just not looking at the right spot, but I did look at a few Pokedex entries for Mewtwo, so I'm not sure where this site got this from. Again, all links will be linked below, so I'm not like plagiarizing you guys, like it's all it's all down there. But anyways, so Mewtwo's bio apparently states it was the only successful clone of Mew, which would make you believe that there was more than one attempt, but again, I couldn't find those exact wordings anywhere or anything that alluded that they tried more than once. I mean, of course, it makes sense because why would you just try an experiment, especially with something as amazing and powerful as Mewtwo. And why would you only try that once? And also, they noticed that they fucked up because Mewtwo had like a horrible heart, like a very stone cold heart. He did not have the heart of a human. So they realized that they messed up. So perhaps is there other experiments that happened, or like something along those lines? You know what I mean? Like you created one that was specifically for fighting that had a really stone cold heart, so would they try again, or previously tried or whatever to, fix their mistakes? Makes sense. It definitely makes sense. The last part of this theory is that it may be a metaphor, simile, whatever the hell you want to call it, to stem cell research, which I guess I guess reading up on it, I can see like where people are coming from, because Mew is supposed to be the seen as the fetus of the world, and stem cells come from fetuses or embryos or whatever. So that's where they make the connection, and I guess maybe Ditto is supposed to be like what happens if stem cell research goes bad or whatever. I'm not really too keen on that part, but I can definitely see the similarities, and I don't think it's that much of a stretch. I mean, do I want to think that any of this is true? Hell no, it's horrifying. It's just, Ditto's just, why can't Ditto just live, guys? Why do we have to have a conspiracy theory on him? Why can't he just live his life? No, of course not. We have to have a fucking conspiracy theory on it. So that's that. Leave a comment below on which ones you like, which ones you agree with, disagree with. You can put your proof below as to why you think they are not true or true, whatever. And comment some new theories that I can do for part 3. That means what? That's 5. I don't know what I was trying to do this, but then that would be 6. So 3. 3. So for part 3. Alright, bye guys. I love you so much. Check me out on Instagram at gearhead_Alice and on Facebook at gearhead_Alice. And I do run a cosplay business called BST Cosplay, so please check us out, message us, comment, and just keep watching Super FanCom, guys. Love you so much. Bye.